Hello everyone, my dear and lovely star signs. This video will be about Mercury Retrograde, which is already very soon. It will be happening from 2nd of April. 1st or 2nd depends, it will begin on 1st or 2nd, depends on which time zone you're located. So for some people it will be already 1st of April, for some of us will be on 2nd of April. From 2nd April until 25th of April, we will have Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrogrades, they happen usually a few times per year, mostly 3 times per year. And this will be our first Mercury Retrograde for this year in the sign of Aries, first sign of the Zodiac. And, Mercury retrograde is a very, let's say, important period in our lives, because this is our lovely period when we get all sorts of redoing, remaking, and all sorts of, let's say, small mistakes happening around this time. I will tell you all about it, and we will go through all 12 signs for each of you. I will have something to say what this Mercury retrograde will bring into your life, possibly. And retrograde, when planets they retrograde, they are moving, meaning backwards. I mean, they don't literally move backwards. It just appears that way from Earth when we look at them, they are just meaning slowing down. And of course, slowing down all the things that they are related to. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication, planet of meetings, planet of documents, all sorts of deals, all that we write, talk, and phones, mobile phones, telephones, technology. Also it's all sorts of technical devices, technical appliances, commerce, and all things related to speaking, talking, and writing. And we will feel this Mercury retrograde already from 21st of March up until 15th of May. Why so? Because every planet, when they retrograde, usually, we start feeling their effects, meaning shadow period. There is this, thing called shadow period, when we already get messages of that planet that they are stopping, that they are slowing down, that some things might not go as we thought they will. And I will tell you, in general, what is advisable actually to do during Mercury retrograde and what is not. And as the name suggests, retro, like you need to redo things, like go back to the past, rethink, give it a second thought, or start all over again, or somehow remake it, or make some corrections. And usually during this period, we get all sorts of changes, postpones, like meetings get postponed or delays, or totally get cancelled, or some mistakes in the documents, some, in the contracts and deals, and you might be changing your mind, or other person might be changing their mind. Let's say you had a deal and then other person changed their mind, and then this deal is got cancelled, this kind of sort of things usually happen during Mercury retrograde. That's why we say blame the Mercury, right? Joking. Anyhow, during Mercury retrograde, also there is the situations when people usually they get lost, or let's say they might lose keys, or close the doors with the keys inside the house. So it's like, this is usually crazy, my story. And lose mobile phones, all sorts of devices, and informations get also lost. Some sort of contacts also get lost around this time. Also not, that's why it's really not advisable during Mercury retrograde to buy technical appliances, like phones, whatever is that, like any technological, devices, phones, computers, washing machines, whatever. So really don't buy those things in April, from 2nd April up until 25th of April. Also doing plastic surgeries, for example, and in general surgeries, if it's not something urgent, of course we don't look at Mercury, we do it. Sometimes we urgently need, we rush to hospital or something. There might be some situations, yes. But if you plan to do plastic surgery or any surgery, I really advise you to postpone it up until when this Mercury retrograde finish, and also the shadow period, meaning up until 15th of May. So around that time. It's not that cancel everything during this period, but it's more like if you do those things, then you will have to redo them. Like in case with the plastic surgeries, you might not like the result, and you might be changing your mind, and you might have to redo it again in the future, or go to another doctor, or just not be satisfied with the with the end result. Signing contracts also not advisable at all if there is something very important to sign, some papers, some deal. And there might be some mistakes in the contracts, so some clauses are missing, some things will be missing. And if you have if you have this kind of situation, then it's really advisable to check all the details, double triple check with lawyers and everything, so that the contract is safe and sound correct, and you can sign the contract. But in most of cases during Mercury retrograde, these things highly possible. When there are some mistakes, something is missing, you're going to re-sign the contract, or other people changing their minds. It's very true and usual story with Mercury retrograde. Same with meetings, they might get cancelled. Don't be sad, maybe it's even good for that it get cancelled or postponed to some other days. So that's maybe the plan of the universe. What is good to do is, again, redo things. If you have something to redraw, reshape, or to modernize, or to bring back to life some sort of some projects, and to go back to your old tasks, let's say some projects, make them better, make some changes, refinance projects as well. Like everything, redoing is good during Mercury. That is really nice. And something that you want to finish, that is something that was going on already since, I don't know, a couple of months. And these things should be finished. So those things are really good to do during Mercury retrograde. What else? It's in 2 weeks from now, this Mercury retrograde, and I'm trying to give you as much as more examples, so that you are prepared. Also, what is not advisable is to start anything in general. During Mercury retrograde, it's not advisable to start, to start your business, to open a company, to register a company. Because, if you do that, then it might be slow to develop, It might get a start, but then it will be very slow in development. Also, not advisable to sign contracts, as I said, including those are offers like for a new job. But even if you do, I feel like nowadays people change their jobs so often that I think it is even normal. So it's not like you're gonna do whole your life same job, but that you keep in mind that usually when people sign this offers contracts during Mercury retrograde for a new job, then there is something that they won't be satisfied with, or the company that offered the job will be different than they initially said. Some terms will be different. Some things might be not as it seemed before, or it might be that you will be re-signing this contract. Something will be missing again, or just that you will not stay at that job for a long time. So I think it's also a normal thing that people change jobs nowadays very often, and this might happen. Some sort of kind of disappointment can be there, Also could be that you will just you might go back to your old workplace. Might be again going back to your old job, let's say previous job, and this might also happen during Mercury retrograde. Because Mercury retrograde is pointing to the past, to that what was already past, About selling house, or selling a car, or selling anything is good during this retrograde, but not buying. Avoid buying cars, especially. Avoid buying house around this time. And again, you might change your mind. You might not like it at the end. Or you might, some things might not be as it was said by the seller, let's say, and in general you might be disappointed by this purchase, and better actually sell these things but not buy. When it comes to love, usually our ex-partners, ex-husband, wives, they are contacting us, our exes coming back into our life, calling, looking for us, and in general making us know that they are let's say thinking about us during this period. And this thing about love, it is good for those who would like to get back to each other, to revive their relationship. And let's say it is a good time to reassess that relationship and any relationship in general, and give it a thought, these kind of things are good to do, but not if you already moved on. Then it just becomes a little bit annoying, let's say, when our ex-partners are contacting. Okay, what else? Let's then move to the signs. Mercury retrograde, as I said, will be in Aries. And Aries, my dear lovely Aries, for you guys, it will be first house. Now, this is very important because, first house is, now I will tell you that do not do any drastic changes to your appearance. I understand this is your birthday period from 2nd April to 25th of April while Mercury is retrograding, moving backwards. But still, try not to drastically change your hairstyle or something that you might regret afterwards, And same with plastic surgeries, especially here for you guys. It's really not advisable to do plastic surgeries because first house rules our appearance, how we look like. Here, what is good about our appearance, that body weight also is here. You might lose some weight, let's say, or you might be thinking how to go back into that shape that you've been before, like a body shape. And you might be even doing some plans, planning your meals, maybe some sort of having a plan how to get back to that shape that you've been already. And it's good time for losing weight as well and thinking in general how you look like, but do not do plastic surgeries or like change, I don't know, hair color, something very drastic. Same with tattoos, better not to do this time. Just wait until May comes in. Okay. Also, a first house is about changing names, surnames. Some Aries, I understand that, eclipses are happening in your sign, might change your relationship with other people, and especially with your steady sweetheart, like husband or wife or your long-term partner. And same with business partners, so you might change your name, like your surname, especially Aries women might go back to their maiden names, and because of, let's say, divorce, or I don't know, just because they want to change their names for some other reason. How people like call you, this might also change. Or your brand name, if that's a business that you have with a business partner, maybe you both will be changing your name of your business. Like first house is also all about who you are at core, like what we show to the world, and there might be a lot of rethinking around this topic during this period. And also it's about your plans, priorities, your wishes, what you think every day. This might have a lot of restructuring, rethinking, replanning, kind of priorities are changing, might happen. And also this is like how other people treat me house, how I treat myself house. And in this regard, you might be also having all sorts of, let's say, remolding, let's say, rebuilding yourself, your identity. Okay, let's move to Taurus. Now, Taurus, for you guys, my dears, this will be happening in your private house of a 12th house. Now, private house, a 12th house is the house of past, so it's kind of a making really a big accent, this Mercury retrograde being in your house of past. So there will be a lot of things to deal with the past issues, might be some things that were dragging since long time that you still haven't resolved. Those things might come back into your life that you need to pay attention to those things. Like it's a house of secrets as well. Those things you might also sort out. Also, it's about surgeries, health house. So here it's really not advisable to do any planned surgery. But of course, if you have unplanned surgery, then of course we do it. But still, if you have something to do which you're planning, then better to postpone it health-wise. Also, it's house of isolated places like hospitals, islands. It's very indicative that some Taurus might go to checkups, maybe. Simple as that. Like you might go to annual checkup of your health, or just go for some sort of remote places like islands and spend like 2 weeks or 3 to relax before your birthday kicks in, my dear Taurus. What else? It's also subconscious mind and all sorts of spirituality, psychotherapy. Those things might be present in your life. You might be also how to say, digging deep into your yourself, into your subconscious mind, into your past. So you might start working with your therapist, let's say, no matter what kind of therapist, but it seems like those things are coming back into your life. These things, like to do these things, are really nice to have some sessions during Mercury retrograde, because Mercury here will help you to really go back to the core, let's say, of the issues, of the problems, or whatever answer that you're looking for. Also, someone from your past or someone who lives very far might be contacting you. At the end, Mercury is the planet of communication, so here it might indicate that those people might come back into your life that you haven't heard for a long time, like, I don't know, and those people might be contacting you. And if you have a planned trip, that trip might get also some, I don't know, changes or cancellations or delays. So double check your, if you got your passport, your tickets, the dates, especially hotel reservations. It usually happens to me when I reserve, and it's like make a reservation and it's just for another month or even another year. I do this kind of mistakes during these times. Really, it happens to me. True story. So double check those things. And also weight loss is also 12th house of loss. So it's very good to reshape your body as well. And let's move to Geminis, my dear smart Geminis. Okay, for you guys, it will be in the house. Mercury will retrograde in your house of future, in your house of hopes and wishes. Now, and this is the house of friendship circle. So your friends, it might be that you will again start, talking to your friends that are very far from you, or that are like from the past, who you've not been seeing or talking for a long time. Those people might contact you again. And you might have conversation with your old friends that you haven't seen or haven't heard from them for a long time. Also, it's house of internet, social media. So those friends might be contacting you over internet as well, over your social media like Instagram or YouTube. But keep in mind here to double check your connection to internet, because Mercury at the end is the planet of communication, and there might be some issues with your maybe internet or router at home. Might need some, I don't know, technical checkups or fixes. And also the house of getting the results. So whatever work you've been doing, you might get some recognition for your past efforts. Let's say if you've been working hard and you had some good job done, then now it will be the time when those efforts and your hard work will be recognized, and you might get some sort of best manager, some sort of title. This is also house of children. It might be your children are contacting you, might be contacting you as well, especially those that let's say you haven't heard from them for a long time. My dear lovely Cancers, for you guys, Mercury will be retrograding in your house of career. Now, here, this is the situation when you might go back to your previous job, or you might hear about your manager or previous boss, like ex-boss, or it's about father's life. You might hear from your father, let's say, maybe he will be contacting you. Also here, 10th house is this career house. You might get finally this, top employee or top talent kind of titles, maybe at work as a career ladder for your past efforts at work, or you might, be even promoted to be a leader. But again, here, check all the details in your contract, and if it's possible to postpone it up until May, at least 1st May. Give it like 5 days more to Mercury retrograde to finish, because the exact date of Mercury retrograde will finish is 25th of April. So, plus 10 days or 5 days is really extra nice to give it. Also your goals, 10th house is our goals that we achieve step by step. They might be changing, they might be shifting. You might be actually realizing what you want to do in life, and you might be quite giving a lot of thoughts around this topic in general, what you want to be presenting in the world, what kind of social status you would want to occupy, and also what kind of occupation you would like to do in general, what kind of profession you would want to pursue, And it's also about reputation, and your old reputation might also remind about itself to you. So in or there might be just reinstating your reputation. Let's say if there was some damage around your reputation or influence or social status, this might be the case that it will get, let's say, a boost and, recover. Let's say recover itself. My dear shining Leos, this retrograde, Mercury retrograde, will happen in your house of travel. Now, my dear Leos, I'd like to remind you to take extra care when you book a ticket, to your travel flight or hotel reservations. So check extra times, the date, the year, the destination, and in general, if you got your passport, if you've got your tickets, and be on time. Preferably go to airport very early so that you will not miss. I've heard a lot of stories when during Mercury retrograde, even if the flight was on time, people were just stuck in traffic jams, and I don't know, some things might happen. They happened at the road and they couldn't reach actually on time the airport, and they were late for their flights. So these kind of situations might happen very often during Mercury retrograde. So to avoid this time, better to go really early. And if you have these kind of travel plans, then take extra care and double and even triple check everything when it comes to travel, because it's happening in your travel house. About visa and documents, if you've applied or you're applying during this time, just keep in mind it might take longer than usual, because people will be changing minds, reluctant, and it might be some sort of mistakes in those documents as well, because ninth house rules visa and documents. And those documents, being issued might have some mistakes in it, so double check these things too. About legal affairs, if you are like in a legal process, you have a legal case, or you're just following some cases, then those cases might also get delayed, or even, canceled, or I don't know the right term for this, but it might have some changes, in it, and even it might have some remaking, redoing, or even some mistakes. Also, this is the house of teachers. Now, those Leos, my dears, who are teachers, double check your timing of the schedule of your, classes and everything, so that you will be on time. Because during Mercury retrograde, believe me, these things might happen, or you might forget, at home, some workbooks, textbooks, and all the stuff. About education, you might go back to school this time. If you would wish to be reinstated as a student, this is a very great time to apply to these kind of things, so that university will accept you back, and you might start your education. This is a very good time. Also, it's about a book. If you've been writing a book, I know when people write a book or article or research, they need sometimes pause. They need sometimes like break it from it, so that they have some fresh mind to start writing again. So this could be this kind of period when you will go back to that research or that book or that article that you've been writing or trying to publish, and you will give it another, let's say, look, and maybe change some parts, or maybe just continue writing something. These kind of things might happen. And here, ninth house is also house of exams. Now, retaking the exam is very good during this time, but not taking them. So if you failed some exams, then to retake that exam is really great during Mercury retrograde, my dear Leos. Now let's move to Virgos. My lovely Virgos, for you guys it will be 8th house. Now 8th house is about inheritance. Those Virgos who are dealing with writing inheritances, or I don't know, dealing with someone else's inheritance. There might be customers or people themselves giving a second thought, rewriting it, making some changes, some amendments to that. There might be this kind of situation coming up during Mercury retrograde. And in general, 8th house is financial house. Now, if you have those Virgos who has some like projects or business, ideas, they might also make some improvements, and like giving it second thoughts and changing some parts maybe, or even redoing all over, and refinancing your projects is very good during Mercury retrograde, or giving back, let's say, finishing up a bank loan is also amazing during Mercury retrograde, my dear Virgos. taxes, also like loans or debts, all things related to this other people's money, are very good to give it a thought, redo, give it back. So these things are amazing to do during Mercury retrograde. Also, 8th house is about psychology. It's about esoterics. Maybe, it's also good to go to some psychological sessions or to any type of therapist wherever you are at your life right now. And if you're dealing with this area and these things in your life right now, this is amazing time to do that, because Mercury retrograding will help you direct your mind towards back, so that you will get that answers that you're looking for. And Mercury rules, this is your ruling planet, my dear Virgos. That's why this is extra influential on you guys. It has also house of health and healing, and here again, it's not advisable to make any surgeries. If you're planning to do, better to do it at a later date, or do it before 21st of March, because Mercury retrograde, we all will be feeling it already during shadow period, when it starts like 10 days before of their real date of retrograding, of its real date of retrograding. But for you guys, it's extra influential because Mercury is your ruling planet, my dear Virgos. Especially if it comes to like how to say this, dentist. Going to dentist is not a good idea during Mercury retrograde, because better to do these things and postpone these things up until May. If it's like how to say, redoing something that was already done to your teeth, and then it is good to go back and redo those things, but not which is something new. Nothing new should be started during Mercury retrograde. It will take very slow development, as I said. Also, money for alimony might come in during Mercury retrograde. If you've been applying already and waiting for this money, it might be coming to you. And about the scholarships as well, it's not good timing for to apply to this kind of scholarship, especially for students, but it is a good time to reapply if you've done this before, and you should see some progress during this time. Like refunding your project is good, but not funding it anew, so if you've been having some debt projects or debt business, then to refinance it, it's a really great time during Mercury retrograde. Now let's move to Libras, my beautiful Libras. For you guys, it will happen in your very important house. Mercury retrograding in 7th house. In the 7th house is, let's say, quite heavy. I mean, more important, let's say 7th house is the house of marriage. 7th house is the house of long-term partners, steady sweethearts, your husband, your wife, those relationships that are long, having, and those relationships that are stable, not the ones that we start just recently dating, couple of months, no. And Mercury retrograde here, I would like to mention that your ex-partners might contact you, or they might be thinking about you, your ex-husband or wife, or like any long-term partner who were like already previously, like a long time ago, like from your old life, let's say, they might be contacting you. And when Mercury retrogrades, we ourselves might be thinking a lot about our exes too. And very important thing to do is not to contact them during this Mercury retrograde, because we will be having crazy, let's say, drive and wish to contact them, but better not to do so. And but if you want to mend the relationship and go back to each other, then this is good time. But in general, it's advisable not to do so. And if you already moved on, then this is quite be annoying time that old partners might be thinking and sending all sorts of messages and calling you, looking for you, all these kind of things. 7th house is also house of contractual agreements, like business partners are here too, that we do business with. So here, it's very important, if you sign any contracts, also double check all the details, all the dates, and if that contract is legit. So even triple check with your lawyer, with whoever you have there, so that they will have a look and might point to some mistakes or parts that you need to rewrite or make some amendments. So better to double check, but in general, it's not advisable to sign it during the Mercury retrograde, so I would advise you to wait up until May. And about love here, it's okay to marry during the Mercury retrograde and to sign the papers. The worst case scenario will be that they will just make a mistake in surname, or I don't know, your name on the marriage certificate. But at the end, Mercury is not a planet that covers love. So here, if you are getting married, it's totally fine. So just keep in mind there might be some delays, I don't know, with decorations, or someone might be late to your wedding, or some things might be going like a cancellation, or it might have this Mercury retrograde effect that are covered, all sorts of communication and all these things. Now let's move to Scorpio. My dear Scorpios, for you guys, Mercury retrograde will happen in your house of work. Now, in house of work, your old managers, your old boss might be contacting you, or you might hear some information about them, or even you might get a call or invitation offer to work again for that company, or you yourself might go back to the same like previous company to work. And if you get a job offer, here again the same advice: double check the contract details so that there is no mistake, because all sorts of communication is ruled by Mercury, and especially contracts to sign. So here is very advisable to have look with your lawyer or someone else, so that you will be on the safe side, you are not missing, so that you know what you want from this contract. There might be all sorts of mistakes. Also, sixth house is the house of health. Here is probably you might be eliminating some things from your eating habit, like your eating habit might change, and you might be giving a thought, like rethinking what you should be eating, what you should not, like including, excluding some products. And it is really nice to exclude most of the things during Mercury retrograde, or just give yourself, let's say, a detox time. This is a perfect time to do this, would be amazing time. Or you might go back to the sport that you've been doing before. Like if you've been swimming before, you might again start swimming. Or I don't know, if you've been practicing basketball, then you might go again to those kind of classes, activities. What else? Sixth house is also house of those who work for us, like assistants, if you have your business, or even if you like at home and you have a nanny, or a cleaner, cook, those people, you might be changing them, or something might be changing around this kind of people. Someone might be leaving you, and you might need to hire someone new. Like everyday routine, everyday life also might change. Your schedule might be also changing during Mercury retrograde. And because it's a house of health, again, planned surgeries are not advisable, especially plastic surgeries. Do not do plastic surgeries. This is not advisable. You might not like the result. You might, change your mind. You might redo it again. So better to postpone it up until May. Now, of course, if you have some unplanned surgery, of course, we don't look at any Mercury retrograde, we do it, right? But if you have something planned in your mind, please wait until May. Next, my dear Sagittarius, for you guys, it will be happening in your house of true love. Mercury retrograde, moving backwards in the love house, it again indicates like bringing back all those flings, all those exes and ex-partners, husband and wife, back into your life. They might be calling you, they might be sending you messages, looking for you, or you yourself, you might be doing so, thinking about them. And I would say that it's not a good time to really contact them if you're feeling this urge, because of the Mercury retrograde. When it will pass, you might regret. So, but for those who really want to go back to their exes, let's say, to mend the relationship, okay, this is amazing time to do that. But for most of us guys, it's really not advisable to text our exes, but they might be texting you as well during this time. Fifth house is also house of children. You might get all sorts of papers around children, and again, it's not good to start anything new around children, like new kindergarten or new school or something new. Better to reapply, let's say, redo, or go back to old school, like to get back your kids to go to old school or previous university, let's say, or college or kindergarten. something to remake around this topic is good, but not something new, as I said. Also, it's about business. Fifth house is the business, and if you want to become a business owner, better not to start in April at all. Don't register a company. Do not open a company. Do not establish it. Better just wait. It's time when you might think about the concept. You might write down, prepare things, count things, see the past, let's say, examples and all the stuff, like really investigate, do research, but start in May. Better month is May in this term. Also, fifth house is the house of competition and house of gambling. Our mind will be playing games with us because Mercury rules our mind, communication, what we think, our thoughts. And here it might be very tricky if you are in the competition, my dear Sagittarius. Fifth house is also a house of, hobbies. You might go back to your old hobby, let's say, and this will be amazing time to do so. Some kind of reinvent your old talents, rediscover them. This will be amazing time. And to refinance your projects, like creative projects. If you've been dancing previously, and you wish to start, then this is your time. Mercury retrograde loves everything that we bring back from the past, that we finish up something, that we redo things, remake things, make changes. Now, my dear Capricorns, this will be for you a house of family. Mercury will retrograde in your family house. Now that is about family. You might be actually, let's say, it's good if you have something to find out in your family past, and this will be amazing time to go to those archives and to go to those authorities, where they save this kind of information and store this information so that you can check it up, dig it up, find it and make a research around your family past, or family tree, or family composition, let's say, during Mercury retrograde. And in general, you might have a lot of contact during this time with your family, chit-chatting a lot with them. And you know what, Capricorns, my dears, I've noticed that you've got like quite a lot of planetary activity around your family since the beginning of this year, and you might be quite in a close contact, very tight contact with your family, like parents or even siblings for some Capricorns, and a lot of chats around this, especially with mother, because fourth house rules mother. Fourth house is also about real estate, where you live, our living circumstances, like house or apartment. And here, my dear Capricorns, there might be quite a lot of things to fix, let's say toilet broken or a sink broken, or some technical appliances might go break, like stove or anything, kettle. So this kind of things might happen during Mercury retrograde. So take extra care. Don't push too hard all these technical things, because you might need, call people to, fix those things, those kind of professionals. And it's a, common topic of the Mercury retrograde in the fourth house to this kind of events to happen, that all the things that go crazy, like TV is broken or something else. And in general, fourth house, don't buy a house during Mercury retrograde or apartment or any other real estate. If you have such plans, my dear Capricorns, for those of you, do not buy during Mercury retrograde. Otherwise, you might regret it. You might not like it at the end. You might change your mind, or you just, I don't know, somehow you will end up not living there, or living there a very short time of period, and you moving out at the end very soon from the new house, let's say, if you buy it. And in general, for also, if you are selling a house or apartment, then this is your time. Then this is amazing time to sell it, but not buy a new house. This is for sure no go, my dear Capricorns. Just wait until May. This is my advice. Fourth house is also house of immigration, citizenship. Those papers, those Capricorns who've applied, let's say, to citizenship or immigration from new, then those papers might get some mistake, or might get even rejection, might get, you will need to reissue them, like reapply and all this stuff. But those Capricorns who are doing it for the second time or third time, this is amazing period because you are reapplying. So Mercury retrograde loves everything with this prefix re, like reapplying, redoing everything, remaking. So for those Capricorns who wish to apply from scratch, just wait until May. My really best advice for you guys. But for those who've been doing it already many times and were unsuccessful or successful, doesn't matter, but this time is the time to reapply for those kind of documents, like travel documents, visas. Then it is a good time to do so now, with whatever related with immigration and citizenship. Now let's move to Aquarius. For you, my dear guys, it will be Mercury retrograde will be in its house, in the house of communication, in third house. Now this is extra double important for you guys. Why? Because third house is the house of communication, house of technical appliances. So for you guys, really, April will not be the month of buying any sort of technical devices, technology, like fridge or phone or computers, anything from like fridge or I don't know, like TVs. It's really not a good time during Mercury to buy those things, because at the end they might be, I don't know, broken, or they might leave short, or you might not like it, or they will have some sort of deficiencies and you might need to fix them all the time, breaking all the time. These kind of things might happen, And communication, everything you write in April, everything you send messages, you might have all sorts of this kind of miscommunications, like sending wrong people email, or sending wrong numbers, or losing contacts, or I had this kind of situation when I lost all my data on the computer when Mercury retrograded my third house. So it was, these kind of things might come up, and just take extra care, save all the time your work, double check, even triple check all the words that you write, and whatever communication you have, who you texting, when you texting, these kind of things are very important when Mercury retrograde in the third house. Third house is also a house of short trips. Here again, pay extra attention to when you book your tickets, to which time, year and month, and hotel reservations, all these sorts of things. If you have this kind of plans in April, then take extra time and care to really go through them and double check and triple check all these details if you have trips. But just so you know that, during Mercury retrograde, usually flights might get canceled, or something might happen on the road and road could be closed, and these kind of things, or delays, some sort of delays might happen. So it won't be a surprise for you, my dear Aquarius. Third house is also a house of transportation. Now here is very important not to buy a car during Mercury retrograde. And again, let me remind you, Mercury retrograde will happen from 2nd April until 25th of April. But including shadow period of it, that we will be feeling, meaning 10 days before and 10 days after, it will be up until 14th of, around like 15th of May. So better buy a car if you have this kind of wish and plans. Do it after May. You can choose it. You can scroll through the market, check what kind of cars you like and all this stuff, but make a purchase only in May, because Mercury rules all this transportation things, and if you buy a car, you might not like it at the end during Mercury retrograde. You might change your mind, or something might be broken in that car. So better not to buy. But if you wish to sell a car, now this is your time. You have all, Mercury support to sell a car. Mercury retrograde, you might have a great deal to sell it. Also, third house is a house of siblings. Those Aquarius who have like brothers, sisters, they might be contacting you around this time, Mercury retrograding. They might be bringing them into your life, or they might be visiting you around this time in April, my dear Aquarius. And Pisces, for you guys, my dear lovely Pisces, it will happen in your house of money. Mercury retrograde, retrograding in your second house of earned income means like quite a lot of debt that you owe, you might be giving back, or someone owes to you. Those money are coming back to you, my dear Pisces. And you might see money that you've, let's say, invested somewhere, and now those money might be coming back to you, let's say. All types of resources is the second house, like material, psychological, our energy, food, it seems like you might be thinking about your energy or your food intake. You might be somehow making adjustments how much you eat, when you eat, to your schedule, or how much energy you put into some sort of activities during your day. These kind of things might come up during Mercury retrograde. For you guys, also, it's about our earning abilities or earning sources and skills. You might get some, a new source of money, but that source of money might be from your past that you've previously done, something that you know very well, like from your old work. Maybe you might go back to your old work for this period and earn some extra money. This kind of source of money might come in into your life. Also, second house is the house of expensive things. It's good time to give back to the stores, like to shops, the gifts that you bought, or just things like possessions. It's material possessions house, and those expensive possessions, like, I don't know, jewelries or something expensive. And it's very good to give back, but not to buy. Do not buy during this period. Like, if you have your own business, then maybe your old partners might come back. And in general, like old deals, like maybe some contracts might come back into your life that previously you were in talk, and now they will restart again appearing, and you might again be in talk, phase of your business, like with your old customers or old business partners, if you have your business actually. And if you have your own business, those, let's say, expensive things might be coming back into your store. Those customers might be bringing back those things into your shop. Second house is the house of values, like what we value in life, our priorities. You might be reevaluating, some things. Like, for example, if you are selling your house, then you might be, rethinking, revaluing, like, let's say, putting different price for your house. Or the person who is helping you to do that, like, let's say, real estate agent or someone, might, call you and say that according to the market price, this is the better price to put, let's say. And you might be, changing the price for your all the material possessions that you are selling, let's say. This might be a situation for some Pisces. Now, I really would like to remind you, all of you guys, check your rising sign and moon sign too, because, in universe, everything is working according to plan, and all our three signs are important. We call it big three, important in actually predicting what kind of events might be happening in your life. So it's very important to check your rising sign and moon sign too, because as you know, as I told you before, that usually horoscopes are written for rising sign, not the sun sign. That all of us usually check the sun sign, but we don't check rising and moon sign. So do check those signs to compare it and see which horoscope is more, let's say, accurate and is more reflecting your life, and you will have more full picture of what's ahead, my dears. And I've been telling about these Mercury retrograde topics even in more detail for some signs in the horoscope for the whole year 2024. If you wish to listen, it's on my YouTube channel. You can find it according to your sun sign and rising sign and moon sign. So make sure to check out those horoscope predictions too for the 2024. There I was speaking also about Mercury retrograde, how many times they're going to retrograde. Mercury will retrograde this year, and what kind of topics it will be touching in your life. And whatever this Mercury retrograde will change the plans, and most probably during the Mercury retrograde, Mercury really likes to change our plans, postpone or even cancel, like some trips, some business deals, some, I don't know, finances. It's a usual topic for Mercury when it's retrograding. Don't be sad. That just means that the universe is making for you a better job, making you to rethink and reanalyze before you actually make that deal, make that travel plan, and move ahead in your life. And I will be also telling you when these Mercury retrogrades will be happening. And stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.